Back in your life again. It's the Dream 3 podcast coming to you live from, Neil's in Ohio and I'm in Indiana. It's just going to be two of us. Yeah, it's going to be two of us tonight. Dylan can't make it. He's got some personal things going on. So wish him the best. He'll be back next week when we talk some NFL because he loves NFL. So we'll be back on that soon. But hey, just kind of want to jump in and talk about our weekend. Me and Neil went up to the Nationals. For those that didn't know, the National Sports Collectors Convention, it was up in Chicago this weekend. It was absolutely massive, like mind-blowing. Like, Neil, yeah. I'll let you start first because you were there basically all weekend. So, it was our first national. Tell me, like, what feeling did it give you, like, when you walked in?
Like, it still blows me away. I was like, I'm used to a small, like 100, 200 person or 200 table type atmosphere. So I walk in and I'm like, I get through like the first like 10, 15 booths and I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty big. And then I realized like there's a whole side like that I didn't even see. The back extends all the way out. And then where a lot of the guys that I pay attention to on Instagram, Card Talk guys, Ryan at Card Collector 2, Slab Stocks, they were all the way in the back. I mean, there was 2,000 plus tables. It was just massive. I don't even think I saw all the tables.
It was crazy, and you're right. Like, it was massive beyond unbelief. Like, I was totally, when I walked in, I was kind of like overwhelmed. Like, it was big, and then like I thought it was going to be big, and it totally exceeded any expectations that I had of how big the show is. Like you said, there was 2,000 plus vendors there, and you kind of come in with a game plan, but as soon as you start walking around and looking at things, it's like game plan out the window. Like, I was thinking football the whole time, and I ended up buying more boxing and wrestling than anything else.
Yeah, it's something where like you can come into a game, or you can come into that show with a game plan, and then everything and you love, and outside of concentrating on a single sport just hits you in the face. Like, I saw so many hockey, like golf, PC things that I was like, I really want this, I really want that, and I was trying to focus on like moving my Tom Brady rookie auto.
Yeah.
So like I was just like sidetracked by just wanting to go get everything, and it was like I had money ready. I told myself before the show, like, I was like, I'm gonna try to come back with money in my hand, and that did not happen at all.
So, and that was my biggest thing is like I took a good amount of cash and took my cards with it, maybe do some buying, trading, whatever. But I was so like, man, like looking at the stuff, like it's all, for the most part, I mean, if you wanted to sit there and grind some boxes or grind at some tables, like, you could, but man, it was some high dollar stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, great stuff, like stuff that you're not going to see anywhere else. You saw at the Nationals, no. Like, but you better have like a pocket full of cash or, something ready to go, to trade out with it. Like your Tom Brady rookie, like you need to be ready to make some high dollar trades for some good stuff.
Yeah, it was at like the first 2 days. I would say I got there Wednesday, and like I was just trying to, I went and I saw a couple people that I knew, like caught up with some of my guys that I haven't seen ever, and actually just met people in person. And then like I thought I was going to go to PSA and get stuff done. And then I got sidetracked, and all of a sudden it was like, show's over. And then I come in on Thursday and I try to go grind out, whatever I need to get done, trades, sells, buys. And I'm like, I might have hit only 200 tables, and then the show was over. Like, it was really, for me to go all 5 days is what I really needed to be able to truly understand the breadth and the depth of how big the National is, and really just get everything that I wanted accomplished.
Yeah, agree. And I only went up for a day, so I left Indy about 7:30, 8 o'clock. And it's a 3 hour drive up there. I was on the show floor from 10:30 until the show shut down, and I still, I didn't get a third of the tables. Like
Oh
like
yeah.
you said, like there's so much stuff to do, and it's not just
Right.
it's not just sports cards. Like there's game used jerseys, there's memorabilia, there's art, there's Ric Flair was there, Hulk Hogan was there, all Emmett Smith, Ray Lewis, like a bunch of star athletes, Jorge Masvidal. Like it was a show, like the sense of the word. It wasn't just a car show. It was like going back to my first point. It was just so overwhelming. Like
Yeah.
it's like everything that you kind of like when you fall in love with this hobby, of sports, and like 9 times out of 10, you're a sports guy going into it, and just see, all the like Babe Ruth autographs, the 101 LeBron James that was $30 million. Like,
Yeah.
you see cards that are $30 million and have armed security standing around it. Was just like, it blows my mind how cool it is.
Yeah. 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 I'm glad I went all 5 days. I mean, unfortunately, I think you were only there for Saturday, but like, the, there was it was massive. Like I think I heard on another podcast I was listening to, they sold 95,000 tickets for this thing. I mean, it was just
And 65%
wall people.
65% were first time people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you and me, first time going to the Nationals. I know like Mojo Cards. I watched him on YouTube. I believe this was his first time going to the National also.
Yeah.
You like you said earlier, you see these guys on YouTube or famous breakers, and you're able to go, meet these guys. Like it was cool to meet, Slabstock Aaron in person and shake his hand, thank him for coming on our podcast, because you see the stuff that he's doing in his charity night, going over $100,000.
Yeah, I think 192,000 is
192,000 worth of stuff.
Amazing.
He's got big time backers, chilling out stuff for charity. And it's awesome. And he got to come on, and he came on our podcast, and got to talk about it, which was really cool. So, see guys like Phil Hughes from Phil's Pulls. Like for those who don't know, like Phil Hughes was a former pitcher for the Yankees, and now he's a card guy, and he's got a great YouTube channel. He does a lot of baseball, but I actually enjoy watching his channel. It's very well done. It's it's very fun to watch. And then you see the one person that wasn't there that I wish was, I guess he had some family stuff, was Gary V. And I'm sure everybody was hoping Gary V was going to be there. I saw a lot of slack for that. What's his name? Jeff from Sports Card Investor. That's like a 50,
him and his 4,000 cameras and security. Yeah, I mean, you thought it was the president. I mean, everybody's just crowded around him, and it's like,
that's one of the biggest things that I heard from the real people was there were so many cameras and there were so many Pelican cases. Like now that I think about it, it's like one thing I don't want to do, and I know it's the age that we're in, is we're not doing this for clout. And I feel that there are some people in the hobby that their goal is not to, take care and love the hobby, but it's more of doing this for show, to get followers, to get fans, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah. I mean, without a doubt, like I would say probably half, unfortunately, probably half of the content creators that I see are doing this just for name, fame, recognition. Like it's not about collecting. It's about making money and getting and just being like a star in the hobby. And I am not a fan of. That's cool if you want to chase like fame and fortune and all that stuff, but like it's a hobby. Like it's meant to be enjoyed, and you're trying to collect what you want. It's not about not about your face on a wall.
And I totally agree with that. And I got to, thanks to Smash at Rip and Gypsy. If you know Smash, go follow Rip and Gypsy on Instagram. Go follow him on Twitter. Smash and Cards is on Twitter. So Smash is a great dude. He took me around and introduced me to a lot of people. They're pretty big in the hobby. They know, great people. So I can't thank Smash enough for introducing me to people. And, a couple of people asked we talked about the podcast, and it's like, we do this for fun. It's not like we're not looking to get big and famous. It's because we like talking about sports cards and sports, and that's about it. Like, I'm not looking for like, I can do that in my drag racing life, but about drag race or about sports cards, it's about, things that I love. It's like, that's why I got so off topic at the show, and I ended up getting Muhammad Ali cards instead of, Tom Brady's or something like that. So, I can't thank Smash and Gypsy from Rip and Gypsy enough. They introduced me to a ton of great people. Met the CEO of Leaf. I actually got some cards of some people. So, people who watch this or listen to our podcast, these are great people to, check out their stuff, like Signatures for Soldiers. I don't know if you went by that booth. It was right up almost by TriStar where the autographs were happening. So what they do is they kind of get donation stuff from athletes, from card people, autographs, and they auction it off, and 100% of the proceeds goes to military vets, wounded military vets. So it's something me and Cruz are going to get into with now, because we love supporting the military veterans. So anything that we can do, especially with our platform and professional drag racing, we're going to try to go out and sell. We also met Isaac, aka Ike Rodriguez. He was doing all the paintings. It was a booth right kind of in the middle. It's called Ike's Art Studio. Amazing artwork. Like, it's all hand drawn.
I saw a couple people do that, and then you got.
Yeah, thanks to Smash. This is one of Ike's pieces. This Muhammad Ali piece.
That's beautiful.
It's awesome. It's all hand done. So, and he had like the Jerry Rice rookie card that looked dead on. That's all hand painted. Like, he had some amazing stuff. So, go to ikesartstudio.com, check him out. I believe he's on Twitter at Ike Rodriguez, Facebook.com/Ike.Rodriguez, on Instagram, Isaac1967, or Ike's Art Studio. So if you can, go check out Ike. See, like, this is one of his drawings. It's just, it's amazing. So if you like stuff like that, artists like that, support them, especially in the hobby.
For sure. Did you what all did you end up getting from the National?
I only got a couple things. I was pretty gun shy on buying, but
I really wanted you to get that Ric Flair auto.
I wanted to also. I was kind
either
of
that or crack yours and have him sign it while you were there.
So here's where I messed up. So once again, thanks to Smash. So Smash introduced me to Donis Poole, who's one of the managers at TriStar. So TriStar is the people that put on the autographs, Ric Flair, Hogan, Ray Lewis, everybody who was there this weekend. And Donis was like, he's the key guy of getting these athletes or entertainers in, doing the autographs and getting them out. So if I would have, Smash goes, well, if I would have known, I would have been able to get it to him and get him autographed. I went, damn, I wish I would have, thought about that earlier. It didn't even cross my mind. But yeah, that Ric Flair auto was high. I kept walking back and forth and looking at it and trying to get a read on the guy of trading or cash, because he wanted. So it was a Ric Flair auto, PSA 3 with an auto 10, and he wanted $3K for it. Would do trades, but wanted more vintage than modern.
Yeah, he did the same thing with me. That's actually where I got my Tiger Woods, the 96 SI for Kids Tiger Woods was from that guy. He loved his vintage stuff, but he was very, very picky on what he would take in trade.
So the only vintage stuff I would have had was my Hank Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. He seemed like he was kind of obscure vintage, and then
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like he had a lot of Kareem's, Lou Alcindor, MJ's 80, 86 Flair, and the Star, 84 Star, 85 Star.
Speaking of MJs, have you ever seen so many MJs before?
I sent you that. Did I show you that picture of all the 10s in that
Mm-hmm.
display case? It
Mm-hmm.
was like 1510 PSA 10s in that display case, and it
Just
was
like it seemed like
absurd.
every table
Absurd.
had some sort of 86 Flair MJ.
Oh yeah, everybody had one, which makes me think about like, how iconic that card is, but at the same time, why is the value so high on something that literally is owned by everybody, and there's
Correct.
40,000 of them in the poppy board?
Agreed. Like I don't know if you saw that the Zion base prism PSA 10 is over 18,000 on the pop count now.
Yeah, I mean it's like the Lucas now. I think they're just so high. It's like why even collect them anymore? There's no point. I mean, yeah, I get it if you're like new and that's something that you like modern players and you're like, oh, I want to get in on this. I want to collect some of that. That's cool, but then you use it to kind of upgrade and transition to kind of what you like to do and what you find more attractive in your collection.
Yeah, and I kind of found that. So I'm not a big, you're way more experienced at wheeling and dealing trading than I am in the sports card world. But I feel like that's how you get to where you want to go. So like if you have, let's say your end goal is that Contenders Brady auto, like
Mm-hmm.
you buy small and you trade and build and trade and build and trade and build till you can get to that point. So you're not just like shilling out 20 grand to buy something. You're over time. It takes a while, but it's trading your way up to what you want to get.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like you can just walk into this hobby and just start, shelling out money. I mean, you very well can, but you're gonna lose more money if you just start just shelling out things just because you want stuff. Um, I I hear it from other people that like you got to take your repetitions. Like you gotta make the trades. You got to make the deals. You got to know when to buy, know when to sell. Take the repetitions. Sometimes you're going to lose, sometimes you're going to win, but that's ultimately how you build up your PC and build up your collection to eventually get the cards that are like hallmarks of your collection.
For sure.
I had a chance to get a black refractor LeBron last year for like 13,500 is what the guy wanted, and I wanted to be at 13,000, and I passed on it, and I regretted it because now I had to rebuy in at 26. So it's like and I had to work my way up to get there too. It's not like I just sat on what I had and all of a sudden I had 26. I had to essentially grind my way up to get to be able to buy that card again. And it's something that I think some of these young guys may not realize is, yeah, you got to do the reps. You got to be patient sometimes, but don't be afraid to, take a chance if you really believe in something and see how it works out.
And
because
don't
you're going to kick
sell
yourself.
early.
Yeah, you're going to kick yourself if you try to buy in on something and then all of a sudden, or if you're going to kick yourself if you don't buy in on something.
Yes.
And then when it spikes, you're like, man, I wish I would have done that, because that's when because you had that opportunity and you missed the opportunity.
Yeah, and it's no different like me seeing that Patrick Mahomes card that I had and just
limited
authenticated was worth 10 grand and I sold it for $89 back in 2017.
Right.
So to see that, hurts.
I mean, we all miss some of those things.
Yeah, we all make mistakes, and I was getting back into it, not really knowing what I was doing. And some things, it's all about time and research and looking into things. Like, I bought a box of 2003 SP Authentic Football a while ago, and I think the box was like $180. And when you think of, the 2003 rookies, I mean, it's not, it's not an all-star class. It's got some people here and there, but I ended up pulling Troy Polamalu rookie card out of 2200. So I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. And then look into it. If this is PSA 10, it's a $2,900 card.
Yeah.
So it's all about doing research on certain things. And, not all cards are heavy hitters. Some cards that you think that are going to be, monsters are not. But, sometimes that's the ones you like to collect. Or, you had people with the $1 million collection or the people with the dollar box collection. But it's just like what you like to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's some like purists, I will call them purists in the hobby that I saw there who would like legit, like they don't care about investing. They truly just care about collecting. And like I love that because that's truly what the hobby's about. And it's these people who just, they pick up stuff, they collect stuff. And, if they find something that some other collector has, and they're like, they want to help them out. So like
Sure.
the best example I can give you is the last trade night, Saturday night, which you missed out on. You should have stayed.
Well, I'm sorry. 3.5 hour drive home.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. You should have got home at 3 a.m. I got home at 3 a.m. and my hotel was, 150 feet away. So
yeah.
So at the trade night, this guy on Instagram, he had 2017 Aaron Donald blue shimmers.
And
so,
Aaron Donald is your PC, correct?
Yeah, that's my PC. So anything Aaron Donald rookie, anything Aaron Donald short print, I PC it. So, but he was a huge Detroit Lions collector, and he's someone I would consider a purist in the hobby. He traded me these cards. I'm going to be honest, I didn't know the value on them. They looked cool. I was something I've never seen before. Blue shimmer, I didn't really think anything of it. I thought it was more, I think what the pictures he sent me were like blue. I thought they were blue velocity, which isn't really expensive. It's a short print.
Yeah.
So I traded him. I had a Kevin Jones, like 4-color patch, game worn jersey piece. So I traded him that. A Ty Johnson optic hollow rookie, and I had like 150 panini points, which anybody can use panini points
for sure.
So I traded him that, and I get the cards back, and it was a nice thing because like we didn't really care about values, and it was something that like for me, I got a card in my PC that I wanted, and he got cards in his PC that he wanted. And we didn't have to look up comps. We didn't look up comps and try to figure out, what's worth what. It was just purely about helping each other out, building their PC, and really just enjoying the hobby. And I love that. And then when I got home, I took the cards out to take pictures of them. And I looked at the back of them, and I saw they're both out of 9. The blue shimmer is out of 9. So he gave me the blue shimmer 8 out of 9 and the blue shimmer 9 out of 9. So for Aaron Donald, his number being 99 and getting the blue shimmer 9 out of 9 is pretty sick card. I'm going to keep that one. Yeah. But there's another Aaron Donald collector, Boys Up Front on Instagram. He collects all the O-line, D-line greats. I'm actually just going to send him one just because I have 2 copies. So I'm just going to send him my other blue 8 of 9 just because like I'd rather it go to someone who cares about it. I don't really care about the value. It's a cool card to have, and I wanted him to have it. So it was nice to just see the purist and the love of the hobby back, which I think something that kind of got lost in the past few months.
Yeah, and one of the things that I saw at different tables to tables, it was kind of, everybody checks comps when they go up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm one of those guys like, hey, if this is what you want for it, I'm going to look at it. If I'm not going to even check comps, I'm just going to look at it and be like, it's worth it or it's not. Like, if it's something that I want, I'll pay you for it. I mean, it's your card. I'm going to pay you for what you want for it because I believe that's how things work. We might, if we can work a deal out, some cash trade or something like that, we will, but I'm going to try to give you as close to what you want as what you want. That's how I feel in this hobby. Like straight. And most guys are willing to cut deals for you. Like the first table I went to, I got a wrestling card and a Muhammad Ali card. The guy took $20 off of it and basically gave me half off the cards. So I was like, all right, I mean, that's awesome. So, most guys in the hobby are willing to deal, because it's not, for the most part, it's not all about the money. It's about people chasing. You saw everybody from, kids who were probably, 6, 7 years old wheeling and dealing at tables to guys in their 80s trying to finish sets of 1952.
I mean, they were walking around with their walker and they were still trying to finish their
trying
set.
to finish 1952, the
Topps
baseball set.
Yeah.
And one thing, like, you can't, go away from, there's a lot of women in the hobby. People, they don't get a lot of recognition, but there's a lot of women in the hobby that are super smart when it comes to wheeling and dealing, very knowledgeable when it comes to the card game, some of the best breakers, and just some of the best hustlers. Like, and they know their products. Like, I saw there was a video going around Twitter of some guy kind of like treating a girl kind of like crap when they were wheeling and dealing on some cards. And you got to realize that some of these chicks know way more than like I do coming up, trying to do something. So, you treat everybody with respect. You see a lot of guys, like when the little kids come up to the table, and one kid was like 6 years old. He's like, "Hey, would you be interested in buying these?" And the guy looks at him and he goes, "What do you want from them?" And they're like $2,000-$3,000 cards. I'm like, I'm 30 years old. I can't get my hands on stuff like that. So man, you're a hustler and you're starting young. I'm proud. I'm proud.
Yeah. No, there are definitely a ton of kids who, I mean, they were wheeling, dealing base cards all the way up to, I saw a kid who was like 12 years old who had a Mbappe purple refractor PSA 10. And I'm like, Lord.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then I'm like, dude, this guy's a G. Like, I can't imagine, being at his age and then working my way up. If I was 12 years old and I had 15 more years in this hobby, what I could, things I could collect and just expand everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see the passion in these kids' eyes. And it's great. It's a great thing to see. And then I can come share this. Like, I can come share to everybody now that, like, if you really think the hobby is dead, you saw at the National, it is very, very, very much alive. Like this, I have never been more content and sure that this hobby is sustainable for the future.
Everything from sports cards to sports memorabilia to, it's a lot. If you have a hobby store, you are golden, my man.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
No.
And it's just going to continue to grow. Now, there'll be peaks and valleys like any other thing. But yeah, like, you had all this talk before the National, all the hobby's dead, the market's going to crash, the bottom's falling out of it. 96,000 people there this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I'd like to see the numbers this week. I hope they post them. It might have been the biggest National ever.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Which I mean is amazing.
I had to park a half mile away and walk.
You couldn't get in the parking garage?
No. I had to go all the way down to the highway and park in the park and ride.
Oh my gosh.
But it wasn't a terrible walk, but I had to walk across the freeway.
That's amazing.
So no, it was great. So tell me about, because you went to trade night, to Ryan's trade night. Tell me about that.
Oh my god. I didn't get to go to a little bit later. I didn't go when the doors opened, but like, it was packed when I got there, and I mean, it was still flowing in by the time that I left. And I left early that night, probably about 10 or 11, but it was just absolutely just throttled with people. Like, you could barely move through the entire place. There were so many people. And it overflowed into the lobbies and around the corners and by the restrooms and down the hallways. And it was just absolutely massive. I think PJ Washington was there.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was at trade night. But that, like, even besides Ryan and Jimmy's trade night, there were trade nights in the hotel every single night. Like, Lowe's was super lit the entire time at the National. Like, that's where some of the biggest deals I've seen go down is, and like I've seen some, like Anthony Laparo, he posted a couple of the cards that he got. He got a Flair Crystal at a 125 and at trade night. And it wasn't Ryan's trade night. It was just at hotel trade night. Like, it's nuts.
And that's the other cool thing about the National is, like, we weren't just doing deals at tables. Like, at the end when you and me were hanging out, and we were trying to do deals with guys just like sitting off on the side of the walkway, sitting down on our boxes, like, trying to make deals work. And that was kind of crazy. So it's not like you're not just dealing with dealers, you're dealing with the other people who are out there watching. When, like, I think about Comic-Con, you're going there and you're buying comic books, or you're buying memorabilia and you're heading out. At a sports card collection or convention or sports memorabilia convention, you're buying, selling, and trading with everybody else who's there too.
Oh yeah, like, you're buying, like, you'll buy something on Thursday that you'll flip on Friday, that you'll sell on Saturday, and that you'll buy again on Sunday. Like, it's everything just comes and goes, and it's a wild ride.
And it's one of those things, like, while you're there, I'm glad it happens at the time it does, because think about if it was during, like, a major, not even sporting event, but let's say the NFL was actually going on. Like, if the Carson Wentz news hit, that Saturday when I was there, and I automatically thought, that he got hurt, not that the surgery came out today, but that I was like, should I start buying Jacob Eason's I should have, that guy that we were sitting with, I probably should have, thought about buying that.
Yeah.
But
no, there were some people selling Jacob Eason's. There was people also buying Jacob Eason's when they heard Carson Wentz went down.
Absolutely.
I mean, news flowed fast, and I'm pretty sure, like, in past Dallas shows, when the PSA 10, like, I think back in March when the PSA 10 went for, like, a record sale, everybody was buying the next, like, PSA 8s, PSA 7s, PSA 6, and then flipping them at the Dallas show, because news like that breaks and it spreads like wildfire. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like it's stock market with sports. Like, who you betting on? Who you betting on?
Fast schedule.
Who do you think? It's not. I'm trying to get my dividends now, not wait a year. Like, that's why quarterbacks are the number one bought and traded card.
Yep, 100%.
Like, and you, me, and Squint Sports Cards had this conversation. Like, we're kind of building our collection and our bases off of skill players. Like, the quarterbacks are great, but the problem is they're either hot or they're cold, and 9 times out of 10 they're always cold.
Yeah.
So when is the skill players? Denard Hopkins, when's he going to get love? Squints is a big Calvin Johnson guy. That's kind of his PT. Yeah. He's a Detroit guy. Like, Edgerrin James going in the Hall of Fame this weekend. Like, when's his card's gonna get some love? So, I think there'll be a shift sometime. Now, they're never gonna be, the Justin Herbert high prices of what they are now. I mean, they might.
But, like, even Hall of Famers, like, once there's recognition for what the utility of a star wide receiver is to a team, or a star running back, it's gonna trickle to the Hall of Fame players. So, like, Barry Sanders will get bumps, Jim Brown will get bumps, Walter Payton will get bumps. Like, these Hall of Fame players, Jerry Rice, Calvin Johnson, these players who are superstars, Hall of Fame type players, will get the bumps and the recognition they deserve.
But I agree with Squints when he was on with us, and kind of what he said was another thing that really helps is guys who stay in the spotlight, talk, and this and that. Like,
you stay relevant.
You stay relevant because you have guys that go away, and they're great players. Use Edgerrin James as an example. I mean, you don't hear much of Edgerrin except for this weekend going into Hall of Fame.
Right.
His card prices are pretty pretty low. But you get like Randy Moss or who's on TV a bunch. Like I don't know. I can't think of somebody. I was gonna say Nate Burleson, but Nate Burleson's trash.
Deion Sanders.
Who?
Deion.
Michael
Irvin.
Michael. Oh yeah, Michael Irvin.
Michael Strahan.
The Rock.
Those big guys. There's some cool cards, and that's the thing is like Hall of Fame type players, like owning one of one like game used shield autos of those players, or even like a sick game used patch with like a grass stain on it. Those are legit pieces. Like
those are awesome. And I kind of took that away from this weekend with you. Was I at one point I was buying up cards, patch autos and patches, and not really caring what they were, but switching my focus from this weekend was like patch autos are great, patches are great, but they have to be game used. That is the way more rare because they're really hard to come by.
Yeah.
And like we were looking at that Bruce Smith, and I was like, oh man, for that price on that Bruce Smith patch auto, I'm in. And then we looked at it and said, player one. It's just like, man, it ain't working. It ain't working.
You can pay me $2 to take that card, player one.
Yeah,
it means nothing at that point.
No, so player between the difference between player worn and game worn. Game worn, obviously, it's been worn in a game. So it's and they'll basically tell you on the back. And then on the back of the card, if it says player worn, like there's a great picture of Darren McFadden. And Darren McFadden is at Panini, and he's got about 40 jerseys on top of himself and just pulling them off because now it's player worn.
Yep.
They cut the pieces from that being player worn. So kind of reshifted my focus on that. I've been looking at patch cards a little bit more for a while.
Justin got us hooked on those game use patches, and they'll explode.
Which I thought Justin did a great job of, he was going after shields, 101 shields, like Chris Godwin. Who else?
Richard Sherman.
You got a Richard Sherman 101.
I about killed him when he wasn't going to take that LT 101. You saw that one?
That
the
was
game
amazing.
used patch, the
amazing,
or the 4-color patch auto. He
was
about to pass on it
with the lightning bolt. Yeah.
Yeah. I was about to kill him. I'm glad I just gave him a dirty.
That was amazing. Yeah, that was an amazing card. Like that's something that's really hard to turn down. And like I used to have an Edgerrin James from Panini One of the quad patch auto. Man, the quad patches were cool, but they were player worn. They weren't game worn. Like
it's kind of like it's a Debbie Downer.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
So next year, the Nationals are what, going to Atlantic City?
It's at Atlantic City next year.
Atlantic City, Jersey.
Yeah, I'm going.
So what's the?
Sarah doesn't know it yet, but I'm going.
What's the rotation? It's Chicago, Atlantic City.
I might have said it too loud.
Uh-oh, you're gonna get a shoe in the head.
Yeah, I know.
So it's Atlantic City, Cleveland, Chicago. Is that it?
I can't remember.
Okay.
One's probably going to be in Las Vegas or something. So
that would be dope. I know Smash was talking about trying to get some Midwest guys together and figure out a point. Maybe in Indiana, maybe in Ohio, do kind of like a Midwest card show. And
it would be cool to do that. I know Wisconsin does one. The Wisconsin Dells show.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it was pretty big. That would probably be the biggest one in the Midwest. I don't know if there's any other big ones around here though. No,
I mean in Indy you get the once a month at the La Quinta.
Yeah, but it's
not big.
It's okay.
Yeah. You're not going to find anything super crazy, but it's nothing you're going to find at the National.
No, the National is. I'm glad it's once a year because it preserves just how great it really is.
And I think you're going to see more card shows start popping up as the popularity on this is just beginning to rise.
I see nothing but this hobby going up from here on out. I'm really excited.
Okay, Smash just sent me a text. Chicago and Atlantic City, the Cleveland venue was shut down.
Oh no. Well,
So,
Atlantic City then.
Indianapolis, come on, Indianapolis.
That would be. Yeah, maybe. They have a big enough place to host it.
Oh, it's twice the size as Chicago one. Plus,
Yeah.
it could be indoors anytime. You can walk from hotel to hotel.
I'll tell you this.
Hmm.
It's also air conditioned.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The convention center, I don't think it was air conditioned. It was warm in there.
It was warm and didn't have any Wi-Fi.
Yep.
So, I'm kind of upset because I didn't get to reach out to our guy Jerry from protectyourslabs.com.
Yeah, I know. I meant to hit him up, and
I had no.
I messaged him once, and I got sidetracked.
I couldn't get on Instagram. I couldn't get on anything. Like the only way I could get to you was call you.
Yeah, I know. It's which makes you think it's harder to get comps, and sometimes it's harder to get deals done, just because you got to try to find these massive deals. You got to really try to pinpoint down the money or the trade, and it's hard to do when you don't have internet.
Yeah, and everybody was obviously trying to do the same thing that we were.
Yeah, all at the same time.
At the same time. So there's definitely no service in there. So no, I mean, all in all, it was a really awesome weekend. Something that I look forward to. I wish Dylan was able to go with us. I know he's got some stuff going on. So I even called my dad. I was like, damn, I should have asked if you wanted to come too, because this was pretty.
Yeah,
he would have loved it because it's not just having never been. I was like, well, it's sports cards, and the first thing you walk in, it's like baseball gloves from the 20s and 30s or catcher's gear,
baseball bats. Baseball bats.
Did you get to hold Lou Gehrig's baseball bat?
No, I didn't look. I really didn't look too much at the memorabilia until I bought. Did I buy that jersey right at the end with you?
Yes.
Yeah, I bought it for a friend of mine who was in town, but I didn't get to look at much of the memorabilia, which I kind of regret, because I'd love to get some cheap jerseys that they had, like Kurt Warner autographed jerseys, DeAndre Hopkins autographed jersey. That kind of stuff is sweet, and it's great to hang up behind me, like the Tiger Woods auto I got right here on my flag. It'd be nice to hang some of that stuff up too.
I was really taken away by I don't want to say how cheap, because they're not cheap, but the autographed full scale helmets.
Oh yeah.
Like $230 for a full scale Rydell, let's say New York Jets helmet with X player on it.
Yeah.
I
saw some Jerome Bettis at $220.
Yeah, Jerome Bettis
Steelers helmet, $220.
Darius Leonard, OJ Simpson.
Yeah.
Slashing deals, bud. Slashing deals.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I would say, I would truly say, as much as it is cards, and it really is a significant portion, there's more for just people who appreciate sports, which I think is so huge in America, is how much we appreciate sports, and how much sports and just the authenticity of people, the stories that you get in sports, how much that truly means to all of us, and how we connect a lot of what we do through it. There's more. It was more than just sports cards. It was memorabilia that.
Speaking of getting sidetracked
for a lifetime,
I was trying to buy sports cards, but what caught my eye that I started looking into, this is a pretty freaking cool, was there were guys that had old game tickets, PSA, old boxing fighting tickets, or Super Bowl tickets, or old baseball. I was like, I'm about to go down this path too. They had they had a couple Larry Holmes cards and a couple other boxing ticket stubs, and I was like, oh, do I want to because that's where I kind of was with. I was trying to stay kind of even with my money, and I don't want to spend it all, but I was trying to be smart with it and weigh things in and out. And I was like, oh man, this is cool, but do I want to spend the money on it right now? Or
I mean, you got some John Jones signed gloves, which
I did.
I'm a John Jones guy. Like, I don't care how much coke he does. He was so exciting to watch, and for me, like those were really cool.
Yeah,
I wish I got some.
shout out to John Jones for I got 2 signed UFC gloves.
I'd want to get some authentic cocaine put on him though, just
Mm.
a little extra in the nose in the snuff box.
It smells just like it.
Yeah, nice and clean.
And that was kind
Mr.
of
Clean.
that was kind of like what we've been saying. Like it was way more than sports cards. Like if you could think about it, like it was there.
Yeah, for sure. Like it, even the obscure things, that it was there.
Watercolor paintings of Tom Brady or Gretzky or
What's one thing that I find that was in sports, big in sports, the Kurt Schilling bloody sock.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been cool to see there. Like the Kurt Schilling bloody sock, that it was pretty notorious back in the day for pretty.
So, to you, what was the biggest or craziest thing that you saw at the show, card or memorabilia wise?
What do you mean biggest? I mean the craziest thing is that $30 million LeBron James, like the LeBron rookie logo, man. I was like, that can't be real. Is that really real?
Yeah.
And then I saw it and I was like, that's easily the biggest sports card ever, without a doubt.
The guy standing there,
they just didn't make them for anybody else.
No, the guy standing there, he goes, "Hey, you want to stand next to a $30 million card?" I was like, yeah, yes, please. Yeah. And then SGC, who was it? Had that Honus Wagner.
Yeah, the Honus Wagner 3.
The 1909. Now that card's it sold as a PSA 2 for 3.7 or 3.5 million.
Yeah, they think it's going to be a significant portion more, but it doesn't matter. Whenever that LeBron logo man goes to sale,
it'll trump anything.
That'll be the Trump for the next ever, because there's just nothing that's going to be better than that.
Now I have no idea. It's because I'm not a baseball fan. Who is Honus Wagner? Horace Wagner,
baseball player. I'm not big into baseball, vintage baseball, but it's just old. I think they were out of old cigarette packs. So, and those were like the first trading cards out of cigarette packs, and that's where they came from. So that's probably why. It's just because it was the first. That
would make sense. Saw a couple Babe Ruth autos. Saw a couple Babe Ruth baseball autos. To me, that's kind of dope. I'm not a big baseball guy, but to see like a Babe Ruth or the Mickey Mantle jersey that was autographed was pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. I saw for kind of the modern people, Adrian Peterson game used autographed jersey. That was pretty nice to see. I think I wanted like $6,000 for it, which is probably pretty accurate for a game used jersey, Minnesota Vikings. But I mean that was pretty cool to see.
Was there anything that we saw that was super rare at the show?
Everything we saw was super
everything rare. That was super rare. Like
the Patrick Mahomes NT 101 Shield auto was there. That got sold the first day.
I got to hold a Lou Gehrig baseball bat that he used. Freaking Lou Gehrig baseball bat. Like like I just said, Mickey Mantle's jersey that he was wearing, and he autographed it. We saw countless amounts of game used NFL memorabilia.
Gloves,
obviously
jerseys, helmets,
gloves, jerseys, helmets. The LeBron. So is the LeBron 101? Is that a game used patch?
I'm not sure. I would assume it is, but I mean, even player worn. It's a logo, man, and it's the only one that's ever made.
Yeah.
Like, it's the only one.
Yeah, so it was that show. If you're into sports, it's something that you have to go to. Not just going. You don't have to bring money. You don't have to be
Go to appreciate it.
Yeah, go to appreciate the love of sports, the love of sports memorabilia.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. So
everything you love about sports is what that show is all about.
So the Japanese Shoni Otani Topps Chrome card, Phil Hughes bought it.
Yeah.
So it was signed in Japanese too.
That's sweet.
So that's pretty dope. So shout out to Phil for doing that.
Yeah, that's
one thing. Okay, Debbie Downer of the show, and
I'm not surprised by it, but the Debbie Downer is probably how stingy some of these dealers are. Even on Saturday, they were pretty stingy on some of these cards, these higher end cards.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly it's because they probably bought in at the peak and they just don't want to sell at a loss.
Not willing to wheel and deal as much. Like when I think of, and I go back
unless you have like stuff that's just as valuable in trade, they don't want to. They just don't want to
deal with it. Yeah, because when I go back and I think, because I can only compare it to Comic-Con. Once you get to, let's say, Saturday or Sunday, you're wheeling and dealing and moving. Like you're trying to go home. Like this weekend, we're going to race in Norwalk, Ohio, and we're taking a bunch of merchandise with us. Like I told Cruz, like, about halfway through the day, everything's 50% off, and I'm not taking any of this crap home. I'm trying to get some money, and we're gonna get out of there. So, I saw that too. Like you would go to some tables, even when I was with you. There are guys who are willing to trade and guys who are willing to really not care. Like the Kobe, like that guy wanted nothing of your LeBron auto.
Yeah, well,
just because he doesn't like LeBron.
Yeah, yeah, and that's part of that's personal. Like you just don't have a fiction to that. Like I'm really not interested. In all honesty, I'm really not interested in much Michael Jordan stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like I sold my Michael Jordan before the show. Am I going to get one later on? Probably, but like I think it's just more or less because I've collected all the GOATs. I probably should have one in my collection, but for me, like Michael Jordan just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah,
just, as much as he is, the one of the greatest of all time in basketball, the greatest of all time in basketball, it just doesn't do it for me for a collecting purpose. But that's just me.
Okay. My Debbie Downer of the show, scumbags stealing cards.
Oh God. Did you see that right at the end?
It was, so you and me were there. He must have just got caught as you and me were either walking to Ryan's table or had just left Ryan's table, because Ryan got a video of it because he left like after you and me were doing deals with that guy in the corner.
Yeah.
He had just left. And I think it just happened there. So for people who haven't seen it or who aren't in the hobby, so there was a guy who got caught. He was going table to table, going through dollar boxes, $5 boxes, just not big slab cards, but he was like looking at them and stashing them in his book bag.
Yeah.
And it says all throughout the show that there are officers in plain clothes. And there were officers who were suited and booted up there too. But this dude finally got caught. And, you get caught in the hobby doing something like that. And the video shows it. Like you have hundreds of people standing around. You're going to get shamed. I mean,
your video is going to be all over Facebook. When they prosecute you and they take your pictures are going to be all over Instagram. Like people are going to know who you are, and you're never going to be able to recover from that in the hobby.
He may have stole. I heard it was about $700 worth of cards.
Yeah, $700 worth.
It
was all like $1, $5, $10 cards.
Stuff, but
don't do it.
Don't be a scumbag. So at least, okay, so Smash chimed in. So he was finally caught trying to steal a baseball. Like,
idiot,
bro. Like, and I believe he was wearing a badge. It wasn't a dealer badge, but maybe it was like VIP or super VIP or something like that. But freaking scumbags, man. That's why, it's being in the world I'm in and racing is everybody's, kind of worried about getting stuff stolen with, tools or something like that when we're at the racetrack. And I would expect, card vendors to kind of be the same thing. Like you got to have eyes in the back of your head. And some of these guys, are very, I don't want to say careless, but they're very trusting of the customer when they take it out of the case and let you hold it or take pictures of it or spin it around or whatever. So, stuff like that happens. Like at the Dallas show, that guy tried to steal a 101. Was it Luca or was it John?
Yeah, 101 Luca auto.
Like, how are you going to move that? Congrats on stealing it. Like, people are going to know as soon as it goes up for sale.
Yeah, you're going to have to. It just doesn't mean. Just don't be a scumbag.
Yeah. Point proof. Don't be a scumbag. If you stole my car, you probably would get hurt. Like, they were very, very nice to this gentleman. Like, if it was anybody else, he probably would have been put unconscious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't be
especially if it's if you're stealing a 101 Luke auto or something, even something like that. I mean, someone's gonna get beat up.
Yeah. So we'll take a quick second and gotta thank our sponsors as normal. Didn't get to actually meet our guys at the Nationals, but we gotta thank them. So Slab Savers, protectyourslabs.com. Use Dream3 to get 10% off your order. I was carrying around my slab case in my book bags.
I was too.
It was, they're worth every penny. So go get one. All my stuff is protected. And we are ready to go at all times. So thank those guys. Go check out protectyourslabs.com. Got all kinds of deals going on. Plus, you got to use our promo code.
Yep.
And
if you have to ship anything, go to gradedship.com, Graded Card Solutions. Use code DREAM15 for 15% off.
Graded cards.
Great for shipping cards. I actually just did it today.
Dude, I love using this now because I'm so paranoid about the post office.
Yep.
And the post office will get my stuff smashed. And if you've never used, so it's not just a cardboard box. So it has another cardboard piece. I have one back there, but I haven't put it together. That it protects the slab or whatever card you have in it. So even if this thing gets crushed or run over, and they have a great video of them running over this box with the car.
Yeah,
and nothing will happen. So the worst thing you can do is sell something on eBay and it gets smashed or broken or whatever. So make the investment, maybe charge a little bit more on your card, but gradedship.com. Use it for sure. So
100%.
Can't thank those guys enough. And, that's kind of one thing about our podcast is, we didn't actively go out and, solicit sponsors. We're out here to help guys sell their products and get more stuff out there.
It's stuff we believe in and stuff that we use every day. It's not something it makes money for us. It's not about that.
No.
About helping each other out.
Yeah, we ain't making no money off this. We're just out here helping everybody else because that's what the hobby's about.
That's right. I'm just trying to be quiet so I don't wake up my baby.
So all right. You got anything else to kind of wrap us up?
Football starting. Let's give a little preview for next week's episode.
So
number one, Carson Wentz. He wasn't seeing ghosts. He's seeing a surgeon because his foot's in pieces. That's what's happening.
My heart hurts. So we're gonna have to.
How's that 11-7 record?
It's Jacob Eason to the top or Gardner Minshew to the Colts. We're gonna figure that out.
Hey, I'm just telling you right now, Dak Prescott. That's all I have to say.
He's hurt too. So
it doesn't matter. I'm not worried about a shoulder.
Yeah, I think next week. Next week we'll work on trying to get my man D Bland on, former writer for the former writer for the Washington Redskins, currently covering the New Orleans Saints. He's got his own podcast, big football guy, very knowledgeable. I think we'll bring him on as a guest, and finally, football starts this weekend. The Hall of Fame game is this weekend. I am so excited.
I'm so ready.
I'm so juiced for football. Like
football stuff is that was the biggest. That's one of the biggest things that was at the National. People were buying tons of football,
and I love it.
Yes,
I love it because I don't know basketball. The only basketball that I know is Jordan, LeBron, and then everybody from the last year's class because of how popular it was. Baseball, there's way too many players, and I can't get involved in. Football, I could tell you just about any football player from 1970, 1950, 19 whatever till now. And I could give you, because that's what I live and breathe. So when football is on, football just makes my life better. I don't care if it's preseason. I don't care if it's a playoff game. Football just makes me happy.
Yes, it does. It makes, let's be honest, it makes all of America happy. Football is America.
So hopefully, we'll get Dylan back on. We'll get D Bland on, and we'll talk about some football. And I'm sure we'll rile each other up and talk about all kinds of things because it's only the first week at camp, and there are people getting hurt left and right.
Yeah, I did pick up a Baker Contenders auto.
I saw that.
I know. So I didn't think I'd go Baker, but how can he lose with the team that he has?
That's what I'm saying.
On paper, that team is the best on paper team in the league.
I couldn't believe nobody wanted to make offers on my Baker. It's out of 25 Prism Auto.
Yeah. Here's what's going to happen. It's going to whatever didn't happen at the show, the hype is starting to come. Sure.
I'm fine with that. It's kind of like my Tua thing. If Tua or Sam Darnold, I don't like Sam Darnold, but I believe in his first couple games. His first game is against the Jets. I believe in the Panthers way more than I believe in the Jets.
But do you believe in the Zach Wilson miracle?
No, not with the team around him. Are you kidding me?
I'm just saying. I believe. The Panthers are a better team, but
for sure,
is Sam Darnold going to be the guy?
Zach Wilson's another Doug Flutie.
Yeah, it very well could be. I don't know. He may come into this and set the entire organization on fire.
He might. It's kind of like making so I don't like making real prediction. Like Jacob Eason, he's going to play. He's more likely going to be the starter for the Colts. But until I see him, and I don't take what he does in practice or training camp.
Was he in North Dakota?
No, Jacob Eason was from Washington.
Washington. Okay.
Big guy. Sounds like his downfalls are decision making, and so I don't know. We'll see. Backup Sam Ehlinger from Texas, rookie.
I like that guy. He's a gamer.
He's a gamer. They brought in Brett Hundley, former Cardinal, as a vet, but they're going to
because he's a veteran.
Well, they did that when they announced that Wentz had the foot injury.
Probably because they were concerned of long term.
They have another quarterback on the roster that I'm not sure who he is, but all signs are pointing to bringing in another veteran. So obviously, Brett Hundley or the other guy that I can't really name is probably going to get released. A veteran comes in. I've heard Gardner Minshew. I've heard Nick Foles. Nick Foles is not, because he's a third-string quarterback for the Bears. The Bears want to move him.
If they can move him for cheap, yeah, they probably will.
I don't want that drama here. Gardner.
Well, Nick Foles, Frank Reich,
Jimmy G. No, there's all kinds of things that could happen that way, and we're only second week into camp.
That's true.
I don't know. Hall of Fame game starts this weekend. Preseason football starts. I love the preseason because I love the guys trying to make the roster. We only get 3 weeks of preseason this year.
Yeah. Is Hard Knocks this year?
Hard Knocks is this year. They are with.
I don't know.
That's a good question. There is Hard Knocks, and I don't think it's the Cowboys. But I've been watching those on YouTube. I've been watching the old Cowboys, the old Raiders. The bad thing is that half the good teams that I kind of want to watch.
It is the Cowboys.
It's the Cowboys this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be awesome.
You're going to get a lot of Dak. You're going to get a lot of
That's right. I told you Dak, baby. I did make a move. I bought a Dak Prescott at the show.
But you moved it, didn't you?
I did. I traded it for a Tiger Woods patch auto, a tournament worn patch auto out of 25.
I think that's a better move.
Well, that's because that's the only thing I wanted at the show, and I didn't get it until the last day. So I was like, yeah, just give me that. Now I'll move something else, maybe get a Dak, but I don't know.
Yeah. We'll so Hard Knocks, hopefully starting soon. Get to watch it. Yeah. Preseason football, hopefully don't jack up the field. So the Hall of Fame Shrine is Friday and Saturday, so it's 2 days this year because I guess got to do last year's class too.
Oh, yeah.
So
who's the Hall of Fame game?
Oh, good question.
Hall of Fame game.
We need we need a young Jamie from like on Joe Rogan to look all this stuff up.
Yeah, we need a producer to give us these insights.
It is the Steelers. Is it the Steelers?
Ugh, yuck.
Yeah, it's the Cowboys and the Steelers.
Oh, so Dak gonna be on?
Dak ain't gonna play.
He won't be on there, but we probably will see our first look at what's his name? The running back from Alabama who got drafted to the Steelers.
Oh, Najee.
Yeah, Najee will be we'll probably see his first reps.
He looks like a monster in camp. Seeing some videos,
we'll get to see his first reps. We'll get to see the linebacker that the Cowboys drafted from Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
What was his name?
I know who you're talking. I can't think of his name right off the bat, but he's the guy. He wanted to be a Cowboy. He's been a Cowboy fan his entire life. He opted out of the season, but we'll see. Like I was a big fan of Vander Esch, but he's hurt too much. I believe Sean Lee retired.
Yeah, they still have Jalen Smith.
Still have Jalen
Smith. I think Jalen is playing Sam, and I think Leighton's playing Will.
Yeah.
But that's a good linebacking core. Their problem is their secondary. Their secondary are actual just like little children out there because they can't run. They don't know how to play defense.
Their secondary is trash. You can light them up.
Which is great because that just means Dak's going to have to continue to keep playing and throwing the ball.
He has to throw 5,000 yards. He has to. So that's part of it. But we'll wrap it up there. So good show. We'll get on next week. We'll try to have D Bland on as a guest. Hopefully Dylan's back in our life. But
and he doesn't bail on us again.
Much love to Dylan, but great time at the card show. Follow us like always. You can follow us on the Facebook page, the Dream 3 Podcast on Facebook. Our personal Twitters, Doughboy Sports Cards 1, or for you, it's
Doughboy SC1. They couldn't do that, but Instagram. Just follow me on Instagram. Doughboy Sports Card 1 on Instagram.
My personal Instagram, Showtime43cc, or the sports card page, Showtime Sports Cards. My Twitter, the whole shebang-a-bang. The YouTube page, subscribe, and people need to start tuning in, liking, sharing, because we're going to do some giveaways. I've got some stuff for us to do some giveaways.
I can do some giveaways. I got some giveaways.
So we're going to start thinking of how to do some giveaways.
We should make shirts.
We can make shirts, or we can make some awesome cards that are autographed to give away. Like, who doesn't love Jim Otto from the Raiders, PSA 10 out of 49, or Lenny Moore, Hall of Famer, or Raymond Berry, Hall of Famer. Like, I found some stuff, man.
You can give away those John Jones signed gloves to me.
Nope.
I know I should have picked some up at the show.
Nope.
But
Tommy wants these. I'll tell you, Tommy wants these. So
yeah, I know.
All right, good show. We'll talk again next week. Keep tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.